if people followed that, we'd have a different planet. We'd have different governments, we'd have different bureaucracies, we'd have a different society, just following that one simple thing. Just tell the truth. I'm not going to talk about H1N1, whatever it's called, but one of the problems with that is going to come down to trust. When the government says you've got to have this injection, do you trust them? Do I trust the CDC, the Center for Disease Control in Atlanta? The answer is absolutely no. I do not. So if they want to inject me with anything, bath salts, I will say no, because I don't trust them. So that's one of the downsides of this silly policy that I'm going to be talking about tonight. In the first part, the 10 arguments against fluoridation. The problem with this issue is very easy to overwhelm people. I don't want to do that. And the second part goes into much more detail. I'm not going to attempt that tonight, but if anybody has a pen drive, you can get a copy of it. If you don't have a pen drive with you, I'll make sure either the organizers get a copy, or you can email me at pconnet@gmail.com and I can send it to you by email. But most of us have an average IQ. That's the bell-shaped curve. Now let me shift that over by here, below 70 are mentally handicapped. Above an IQ of about 130, we have very bright, or if you like, the geniuses of our society. Now if I shift the curve over by 5 IQ points, you don't notice much of a shift here. The average person from 100 to 95. If you're a parent, you're not going to notice the difference between a child of 100 IQ and a child of 95. If you're a school teacher, you're not going to notice that difference. But look what we've done to our two tails. We've halved the number of geniuses in our society, and we've doubled the number of mentally handicapped. That's with the shift of 5 IQ points. If you only shifted it over by 1 IQ point, you still have a considerable difference here and a considerable difference there. Not the doubling and halving, but a considerable difference. And that's simply mathematics, by the way. No science goes in this. It's just a mathematical examination of a normal distribution curve. The promotion of fluoridation is not scientific. I'm just comparing the responses to what we say. I asked Paul, has anybody ever attempted a blow-by-blow critique of the book? Have they answered these ballots? No. No response. This is typical. Ignore the people. Let it just fade away. And also ridicule. That we've seen that in the media. I was not here, but in Buffalo a couple days ago. I was compared to a burger. People were saying that Obama was born in Kenya. Total dismissal. They criticized the bookstore. If you're going to have Dremke there, why don't you have a burger?
That's exactly. So it's actually wonderful if you can come up with one sentence for him, then you can just toss that whole book away. You don't have to read it. It just beats work. The moment you can feed people one sentence, now we had this done with fluoridation for 50 years now. We're very experienced being called every name under the sun, but you've got to recognize what it is. We are dangerous, so they have to deflect people away. You don't let the dentists and doctors read the literature if you can possibly avoid it. You stigmatize the opponents as much as you can, so that people are very uneasy about coming to meetings, about airing any view, because immediately they're going to put you in that box. It's very uncomfortable if you find yourself in that box.
I'm pushing this idea further, and I'm drafting a constitution for grassroots United Nations, which is not affiliated with the regular United Nations, and which will not be connected with any government. It'll be sponsored primarily by small and medium-sized businesses that are not involved in the war industries at all. So I'm working on this idea, and since I've put this on the internet and discussed it with friends, a lot of people have come to me. Now, as a result of that, This evening here is one of many evenings that we will be doing across the Trans-Canada Highway. Some people here, like Nancy, come from London, Ontario. And London, Ontario is the next place where we will be speaking. If we do get funding for this novel idea, we will look for a home for it once the Constitution is made and once the process is fully developed for selecting people in different countries. Not one country, nation will be avoided. We will have representation, if all goes well, in every single country, even North Korea. There's good people there. I mean, even in Iraq and Iran and these places. So that's the main news I wanted to talk about. And some business people have contacted me, about 60 people. He allowed 4 people to ask questions, and I was one of them. And the question I answered, I said, Your Excellency, I said, Japan has no mines for steel and iron, and yet you're the greatest, steel maker in the world. You're the greatest car maker in the world, and so on. And I said, I congratulate you for that. But do you agree with me that the small and medium-sized companies are the economic and the employment engines of your nation? He says, of course, of every nation. I asked him, I said, my question is, name me one small company in Japan. Name me one company that, your government has helped, especially one company that showed promising technology in an area which is, it's a virgin niche market that can develop forever. He didn't know. They still talk to me, but there are other laws in Canada and in individual provinces right now going under our noses, which our politicians are not telling us about, and which lawyers are not aware of. Because I spoke to lawyers, and I said, I can't believe that they're doing this. It's like fascism, Bill C-6, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of this. Bill C-6 will soon become a law if it's not stopped. And this has something to do with alternative therapies and natural remedies, property, and stay there and do whatever they want on your land. They can't come into your house without a search warrant, but they can stand on your property. Anyways, laws like this, I don't have enough time to tell you about other laws that are happening under our noses that our politicians are silent about. For some reason, I don't know. Am I paranoid? No, I'm not paranoid, because these are documents you can verify. Now, I like the solution of the kids, just tell the truth. I think with the help of the intellectuals, if we start finding what the truth is, and finding those of us who have the courage to speak the truth in a way that's simple, safe, sound, but sure, and effective, I think we can change this world. I don't think we should wait for our politicians and the world, the League of Nations or the United Nations to solve our problems. I think it's about time that the little brothers and little sisters of the world get together and talk to Big Brother and say, look at us, we're here. Now listen to us. Now we want to have objective truth about fluoridation, about 911. These are the facts, okay? 9/11 was not treated like a crime scene.